The topic of this session is benefits from supply chain relocation and renewed investment EV industries. Thailand is embracing to not only adapt to this trend, but also position itself as a regional and global player in the EV sector. We are honored to have Secretary General Thailand Board of Investment, Mr. Narit, Therdsteerasukdi, and Vice Chief Executive Officer Rever Automotive Company Limited, Ms. Pratarnporn Phornprapha with us. Head of Research, DBS Vickers Securities, Ms. Chanpen Sirithanarattanakul will be our moderator for the session. Ladies and gentlemen, may I now invite our panelists and moderator on the stage.
Sawadee. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Thailand Focus 2023, The New Horizon. In this session, we'll discuss the benefits from supply chain relocation and renewed investment, especially in the EV and related industries. The automotive sector has always been one of the most important pillars of the Thai economy, and as the world is moving towards decarbonization, Thailand is also actively embracing this EV revolution. The government has come up with a lot of investment incentives with an aim of developing the country to be an EV manufacturing hub. And this has been successful so far, as we have seen a lot of new investments by major EV players. In addition, on the demand side, EV sales have jumped strongly during the last 2 years. And today, we are very honored to have our two panelists here from both the public sector and private sectors who will share their insights on how they see the industry going forward. Maybe I'll start with the question for Khun Narit, Therdsteerasukdi, Secretary General from Thailand's Board of Investment first. Khun Narit, could you discuss Thailand's automotive industry and our roadmap for the EV industry, please?
Good afternoon. First of all, thank you, Khun Phakon and Stock Exchange of Thailand for inviting me to join Thailand Focus. For the automotive industry, we have a long history in this industry. Could you please share my slide? Automotive industry is one of the key sector of Thai economy, represent about 6% of the GDP and almost 1 million workforce. Now Thailand is the largest automotive producer in Southeast Asia and ranked number 10 in the world with the production volume of more than 1.8 million units last year. And we are one of the largest exporter as well. And for this year, we forecast that the vehicle production would reach almost 2 million units. Our export performance is also outstanding as compared to other ASEAN countries. Thailand is the largest exporter of automotive parts and components in Southeast Asia and ranked 15 in the world. One of the reasons is the complete supply chain, which we have developed for more than 50 years. And Thailand has the most complete and strongest supply chain of the automotive in the region. Many multinational companies have already established in Thailand. Now we have almost 2,000 part and component suppliers in Tier 1 to Tier 3, ranging from plastic rubber and metal products, and rubber ties, interior part, electronic part, and also safety system, and so on. We also have been successfully promoted the product champion in automotive industry from one-ton pickup to eco car, big bike, and we are now building electric vehicle as our new product champion. You will see that the automotive industry has been the top export item of Thailand for a long time, account for more than 10% of the total export. And automotive is one of the few export items that still have growth during the past 6 months of this year with a 5% growth rate. And Thailand's automobile products have been exported to all over the world. Asia is number one export market, account for more than 30% of total export, followed by Australia and the Middle East. And the one-ton pickup is the most famous product for most of the export destinations, except in North America, which passenger car is dominant. And as the world is moving towards the electrification, Thai government has strong intention to make Thailand become the world-class EV production hub. This is the reason why the government announced an aggressive target of 30 at 30 vision, which means we will produce at least 30% pure electric vehicle by the year 2030. Which will also create many opportunities in related products, such as the part and component, battery charging facility, and also the related ecosystem. And with this aspiration, we hope that Thailand will be one of the top BEV producers in the world, and we will be able to maintain the top rank in Southeast Asia. So this is our target for building the EV industry in Thailand.
Thank you very much, Ka. We have heard a lot about the supply chain relocation, especially from the various EV makers. Could you discuss the current investment situation, please, especially in the EV and related industries?
For the current situation of the investment application during the first half of this year show a very positive trend. We have received 891 projects of investment application, 18% increase, and the investment amount is more than 360 billion baht, increased by 70%, and almost half of those are located in the EEC area. And in terms of the industrial sector, the electronics, agriculture and food processing, and automotive are the top three sectors, account for more than 60% of the total investment. For the electronic industry, it increased 7 times from the same period of last year because we have received many large projects in the electronic industry, especially the printed circuit board or PCB, IC and wafer testing, and also smart electronic products. Because of the ongoing relocation trend by electronic component makers to reduce the risk from the geopolitical tensions and supply chain disruption. And for the agro industry and food processing, which came second, the investment application include the projects by well-known global brands such as Pringle. We received a big investment project from Pringle, which is the potato chip from the United States. They decided to invest in Thailand. And also the Lotus Biscoff, a famous biscuit maker from Belgium. They will use Thailand as a production base to export to the Asia Pacific market. And for automotive and part industry, most of the projects involving in the auto parts and charging station for the EV. And apart from these 10 targeted sectors, there were also a big investment in the power generation, especially the renewable energy, which has the investment amount of more than 26 billion baht over the past 6 months. For the FDI, you will see that foreign investment continue to increase at a very high rate. We have been receiving around 300 billion baht in the past 6 months. China ranked first, mostly in the electronics and EV industry, followed by Singapore and Japan. Even though Japan is number 3, but you will see that the figure from Japan increased more than double from the same period last year. And this figure reflects the confidence of the foreign investor in Thailand, especially our fundamental, well-developed infrastructure and strong supply chain. Apart from the manufacturing activities, we have also attracted many leading companies to set up their regional headquarters in Thailand, mostly from Japan. And in terms of the sector, most of the regional headquarters are in the automotive, machinery and equipment, and also electronic industry. Many leading companies that already set up their regional headquarters in Thailand include the Agoda. Agoda is located at the Central World Building. They employ more than 3,000 people working here in Thailand, and about 2,000 from all over the world. They come to live and work in Thailand together with Thai young generation. And there are also many automotive companies that already established the headquarters in Thailand, including Toyota, Honda, and Nissan. According to the latest figure of the BOI for the EV industry, there are 14 projects from 13 companies already received BOI promotion to produce the battery electric vehicle with the total capacity of more than 270,000 units, which is equivalent to around 1/3 of the total target under the 30 vision. And we also have many new players that come to invest in Thailand during the past 3 years, such as MG, Great Wall Motor, and BYD. And recently, many companies have already announced their investment plan in Thailand and will submit the application to BOI in the second half of this year, such as the Chanpen Automobile and GAC Ion. For EV parts and components, there are totally 18 projects from 16 companies received BOI promotion to produce key parts such as the traction motor, BMS, DCU, and also onboard charger. And for battery, which is the most important parts of the electric vehicle, we promote both battery maker for EV and for the ESS. So far, we already granted promotional status to 25 companies with 31 projects. And recently, you may have heard that the leading battery makers like CATL already announced their investment plan. They will join hand with Arun Plus under the PTT group to produce a cell 2 pack battery in Thailand. And the other company, Goshen from China as well, they also will have a joint venture with Nuovo Plus to set up the battery factory to produce module and pack with the capacity of more than 2 gigawatt hour. And for EV charging station, which is a very important ecosystem for the EV industry, so far we have promoted 10 projects from 9 companies with the total chargers of more than 11,000 units. And more than 4,000 chargers were already installed all over the country. And for the EV market, domestic market in Thailand, everyone can see that the EV adoption in Thailand has increased rapidly. For the EV registration, in the first 6 months of this year, there are more than 40,000 vehicles for the BEV that register in Thailand. The number is more than double from the whole year of 2022. And the accumulated amount of the BEV register, so far we have more than 70,000 units. And according to the survey of Deloitte, almost 1/3 of the respondents in Thailand would like a BEV as their new vehicle, which is the highest proportion among the ASEAN members. This represents the high rate of EV adoption in the country. Yes, so that's all my presentation for the first session.
Thank you very much, Ka Kun Narit. Next, I would like to know to Kun Pratarnporn Phornprapha, Vice CEO of Rever Automotive Company Limited, the authorized distributor of BYD cars in Thailand. We have seen BYD cars market share has been increasing quite rapidly during the last 2 years. Could you discuss the current market situation and trend of EV industry in Thailand, please?
Of course, thank you. But first of all, I'm very happy to be here. I think in this very exciting EV environment, I think Kun Narit has painted a very, very clear picture of how busy everything's been in the EV sector. I think Thailand, we're quite new to the EV industry in general, but maybe I will just touch on a little bit about the global market first. So I think post-COVID, everybody has seen that there's been an increase in demand in people owning their own vehicles. And basically with the commodity price going up, I think everybody know about the oil prices. Like basically the EV adoption globally has been increasing quite nicely. So 2022 saw around 14% increase of electric vehicles adopted all over the world. And the global market seems to think that, EV will actually go up to 30% this year. So 10 million last year all over the world. They think that it will probably finish at 14 million. Now back to Thailand. Thailand, we're a very, very new country for EV. Last year we closed at around 22,000 vehicles. First, I have to apologize because at Rever we basically we very much focus on pure electric vehicles. So the number that we report are purely electric. So last year we closed at around 22,000, but I think most of you would already have seen the statistic. Up to June, we're already at around 32,000 vehicles. So I'm very hopeful about this year that we're probably going to close at about 400% plus than last year's number. it's an exciting market, and we're seeing the numbers every day. I think, what we're seeing in Thailand is the readiness to adopt. And I think, with BOI and then their efforts as well in bringing factories here, it helped a lot with the ease of use for a lot of users. A lot of people were very worried about what it would be long term in terms of spare parts and everything else. And all the factory setting up here has definitely helped like push the ecosystem forward. So far, I think you were asking a little bit about the environment of how EV is. Actually, I find it very exciting. When we started, which was last year in August, there were not many EV brands in the country, and we were actually quite excited about this year having more brands. Why we are excited about this is because I think that EV is nearly like a story. With every new adoption, everybody needs a story. People are more hesitant to use it because they've never used it before. So the more people we have in market, the more adoption there is, and the more marketing there is to people talking about how easy it is to use it. So I think the competitive landscape for EV will look very good this year, and we will be hearing a lot more about brands coming in. GAC is coming in, Chang'an as well. So by the end of the year, I think we'll be seeing a lot of newer choices coming into market. In terms of BYD, where we are, so since deploying last year in August, we've delivered about 18,000 cars. Rever ourselves, as a company, we've always focused on, bringing in technology to decarbonize the country. So we're the sole distributor for BYD passenger vehicles, and we've moved into the commercial sector as well this year. So I think hopefully you guys will be hearing more about us in the commercial sector too.
How many models are you selling right now?
Oh, sorry. The figures are for our single model, which is the Atto 3. So we've just launched the Dolphin. Currently, the numbers, we counted by registration, so the numbers are not in yet as of June. We're going to be launching another model coming soon.
And that's passenger car?
Yes, passenger car.
I see.
For the commercial part, we are deploying E6 and T3, light commercial vehicles at the moment, and then with the plan to expand more into heavy use commercial vehicles in the near future.
Okay. Could you touch a bit on the subsidy for EV user, please?
So I think that has been really great. I think Narit's actually covered a lot of the subsidy, but the 150,000 has been really, really good for the market, because I think you will see, I think a lot of the EV statistics, you see 10 million for last year, right? But then 10 million is with a lot of countries that have applied subsidies for a long time. China has applied it over 5 years. So it's been a decade they've had subsidies in EV. America too, and so has Europe. So actually, the subsidy itself, I think, is probably one of the most important things that actually got the EV movement going forward, because we're talking about mass consumer product. When you talk about a mass consumer product, probably the most important thing is pricing, because we're talking to a whole country. So basically, we know that electric cars, for example, Rever, we're purely in electric. We know that 10 years down the line, the cost of maintenance is about 50% less than an ICE engine. But the thing is that the cost up front is more than an ICE vehicle engine. So 150,000 subsidy for our cars has been amazing. Also with the excise tax, but Narit's already covered most of it, so I don't think I'll touch on that.
Okay. Do you think what are the key factors driving the mass adoption of EVs? Is it price, government incentives, technology, or what else?
So I think I've touched on the price itself, that it's very, very important for at least the first adopters and a lot of people who are considering EV, right? We've done a study, and about 18% of people are ready to convert if it's not more than 15% above, let's say, an ICE engine. But I think what really drove EV into motion also is probably the timing of the oil prices as well. Because at the end, I think now as the adoption goes, even though oil prices are settling at the moment, people already know how much they're saving, even though the oil price is dropping. So this is one of the key things. We're seeing second waves of adopters right now. Other than that, I think that in general, other than the ease of use now, with the adoption that's going, I have to say that Thailand has been quite phenomenal in a way that people share how an EV is being used. I think if you compare it to other markets where EV was adopted a long time ago, it took a lot of time for people to understand that EV is so easy to use. But in Thailand, as soon as the first movers adopted it, it's all over the internet. Oh, you can charge here. You actually don't need to charge that much. So I think that's probably one of the key reasons too, is the communication and the openness where our users are actually sharing. And I think one of the last thing, we've done a study too, and around, like before, it's changing, but at the beginning of our journey, about 12% of the people wanted to change to an EV car, right, because of the climate change angle. Everyone wanted to commit that they're doing something to help the country. At 12% at that moment, I think that it's a lot of newer generations too, but I believe that in the years that's coming, that will change. Because I think you're seeing in the news, like what's happening in Maui right now, and in California as well. And we haven't even covered the fires in Canada. Climate change tech is going to become very, very important because these issues are more evident in Asia, like we have floods every year. These kind of topics, I think globally will be discussed, and this will be one of the issues that I think will raise that 12% up because people are being more aware of what climate tech could help with in terms of in the general goal of going to net zero.
Thank you, Ka. And I agree that those who have already changed from ICE to EV, they will never go back to ICE. And next, I would like to come back to Khun Narit. Can Thailand be a hub for EV production? What are our competitive advantages as compared to other in the region?
Yeah, as we have been facing many challenges, especially the global geopolitical tensions and the climate change and also the digital transformation. There are many investment trends in the future, including the relocation and diversification, green investment, and also the digitalization and automation. And the investors are also looking for the place which is safe, resilient, and has the strong policy to support the digital and green transformation. So I believe that Thailand will be the right place for the investor in the next decade. Thailand has many strengths to offer to the investor and will be beneficial for the investor, such as the well-developed infrastructure and connectivity. And we also have a complete and strong supply chain, especially for the automotive and also for the electric vehicle in the future. And for the market access, we have a large domestic market, and we also open economy, which we have signed 14 FTAs with 18 nations, and we are in negotiation process with the more than 20 countries. So in the near future, we will expect to have more than 50 FTAs that will help the investor can access the global market. And for the government support, we provide the competitive incentive for the investor, especially for the EV industry. And one of our strengths is a green transformation policy. Thailand is among very few countries that will be able to provide clean energy to the business, which is very important for many leading companies. As you know that not only the country level, but many leading companies, they have their carbon neutrality target, and they are committed to use 100% renewable energy in their operations. And many companies choose Thailand as their location because they are confident that we can help them to achieve carbon neutrality target. And another important factors are the safety and resilience. Many investors come to see BOI and they told us that they choose Thailand because of the safety and resiliency. We have geopolitical neutrality, and Thailand has a good relationship with all countries. Many people call us the conflict-free zone or safe zone for the investor. And we also have proved the resilience during the crisis, as you can see during the COVID period, that we can help every factory or business sector to operate as usual during the crisis. So these are our strengths that will be beneficial to the investor, including the electric vehicle. And this strength make Thailand become the regional hub in many areas, including tech hub, BCG hub, talent hub, logistic hub, and creative hub. And in January this year, we just launched our new investment promotion policy, which set out to promote the investment to restructure Thai industrial sector and move Thailand towards the new economy, which will be an innovative, competitive, and inclusive economy. And one of the key sector is the electric vehicle. And with our inspiration and our strength, as I mentioned earlier, we believe that Thailand will be the right place for the investment in the electric vehicle in the next decade.
Thank you. You mentioned in your slide about the BOI support. Could you elaborate more about, like in terms of incentives for the EV entire ecosystem? Is it going into like every part of the EV ecosystem, please?
PowerPoint, please. Okay. As I mentioned that we just launched our new strategy. And under new strategy, we have identified 5 priority sectors, which are BCG, electric vehicle, smart electronics, digital and creative industry. We believe that these 5 industries will be a game changer for Thai economy. And of course, EV is one of those. And to achieve the 30 at 30 vision and also the target under our new strategy, Thailand is the first country in Southeast Asia that launched the comprehensive and aggressive measure to promote the EV industry that cover both supply side and demand side. For supply side, the BOI provide the incentive to the EV producers, which cover a wide range of EV segment from BEV, PHEV, hybrid, and also fuel cell electric vehicle. And we also cover every types of EV, two-wheeler, three-wheeler, four-wheeler, bus and truck, and also electric boat and electric bicycle. And not only vehicle, we also focus on the EV ecosystem, such as the battery and key parts and component, and also battery charging station and swapping station, and software and application related to EV. So these are all activities we are focusing on to promote the EV industry in Thailand. On the right-hand side, for the demand stimulation measures, which is implemented by the Ministry of Finance, the EV board approved the measures to stimulate the domestic demand of the EV by granting the incentive, including the CBU import duty exemption or reduction for 2 years, for the first 2 years, and the excise tax reduction, and also the cash subsidy up to 150,000 baht per unit. And apart from this measure, we also focusing on the charging facility development And the Ministry of Industry is also developing the testing and standard facility. And recently, you may have heard that the Government Saving Bank just announced a special package to provide a soft loan for EV supply chain. So these are all the comprehensive measures from Thai government to promote the EV industry. And as I mentioned, that we are the first and only country in Southeast Asia that initiated these comprehensive measures. This is the reason why we have been successful in attracting many new players in EV to establish in Thailand in the past 2 or 3 years. This is a measure from the BOI to promote the EV producers, which I just mentioned earlier. Our measures cover the vehicle production and also EV part and components. We work closely with the related agencies like Ministry of Industry and also Ministry of Finance to identify 17 key parts that will receive the highest incentive from the BOI. For example, we have traction motor, BMS, DCU, and also battery, which battery cell production will receive the highest incentive. For the charging facility, we promote both battery charging station and battery swapping station. The battery swapping station is a new model which will be suitable for some segment of the EV, such as the EV motorcycle and also the commercial vehicle. And we also grant incentive to the software and application development that is related to EV, such as the EV system control software or fleet management platform or application for charging station management. And this is a EV3 package. As I understand that you already know this package very well, which is launched since February last year. And more than 10 companies already joined this package. This is a draft EB 3.5 package. The objective is to keep the momentum of the EV growth in the country. So the EV board already approved in principle to launch the EB 3.5, which will be effective since January next year. After we have the new government, we have to propose this EB 3.5 to the new cabinet to get the approval. The subsidy will be reduced from 150,000 baht per unit to approximately 100,000 baht per unit. And the condition is similar to the EB 3.5. The companies that enjoy the benefit from EB3 or EB 3.5 will be committed to produce the BEV locally in Thailand to compensate the CBU import. And apart from the tax incentive, the BOI also provides the service to the EV companies to do the local sourcing. We organize the event to match between buyers and suppliers throughout the year. Just recently in May this year, we organized a big event we call Subcon Thailand. Subcon stands for subcontracting. Subcon Thailand is the largest industrial subcontracting event in Southeast Asia. We invite hundreds of suppliers to exhibit in this event, and we also invite buyers from all over the world to come to see the potential of Thai suppliers in automotive and electronic parts and components. And in September, in next month, we will organize the Subcon EEC, in the EEC area. And we also invite both buyers and suppliers which are located in the Eastern Economic Corridor to join this event. And besides the big event, we also organize a special event for automakers. Last month, we joined hands with BYD to organize the BYD Sourcing Day, which we invite more than 160 part and component manufacturers in Thailand, both Thai company and foreign company that have their factory in Thailand, to meet with the BYD executive. And it has been quite successful. We have more than 200 business matching between companies and BYD sourcing team. And in September, we will organize this kind of event with the NETA company. And after September, we also have scheduled to organize this event with many other companies in EV industry and also electronics industry. So this event will help Thai suppliers to be part of the global supply chain of the global EV companies. And we just developed the new platform we call the HQ Biz portal to help the company that would like to set up their regional headquarters in Thailand. We collaborate with our partners like Revenue Department, the Bank of Thailand, and also the Department of Business Development to provide one-stop service for leading companies to help them expedite the process of establishing the regional headquarters in Thailand. And the other service from the BOI is the long-term resident visa. Actually, we collaborate with the Immigration Bureau and Ministry of Labor to set up the one-stop service for visa and work permit, which is located at Jamjuli building in downtown Bangkok for more than 20 years. But recently, we just launched the new type of visa, which called the long-term resident visa, to attract high potential foreigners in 4 groups, including the wealthy global citizen, wealthy pensioner, work from Thailand professional or remote workers, and also highly skilled professional in many industries, including the EV industry. Many privileges will be offered for the LTR visa holder, such as 10-year visa that will come automatically with the digital work permit, and the reporting period will be extended from every 90 days to once a year. And for experts in targeted industry, will receive special personal income tax rate, only 17% flat rate. So these are all benefits, tax, non-tax, and also facilitation that we offer to the investor in the electrical to EV industry. Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Ka. It's very comprehensive. And next, I would like to ask Kun Pratarnporn. Maybe I'm quite curious about the useful life of an EV battery pack. Normally, what's a useful life?
Well, I think basically this is actually a good question because, when we first started basically deploying EVs in country, you will see that Rever ourselves, I think we're the only country that do 8 years battery warranty, right? For all of our vehicles. I think the standard, basically the standard for most of the brands have 5, but we were the first to do that. The reason we did that is because actually we know that our batteries are very good. So BYD's battery itself, like through tests, basically technically can run for 1 million kilometers, 5,000 charging cycles. So if you convert that into years, that's probably around depending on how much you drive, around 50 years, something give or take. But like basically this is one thing that because electric vehicles are new, it's still a misconception that like the warranty only comes with this much means that the battery only lasts that long, which it's not. So recently we've just launched a program called Rever Inspected, in which like for secondhand cars that we would actually go in and basically inspect all the battery like quality that at which percentage that it's at, so that basically people understand more that the car can run much longer than that. So I think yeah, in terms of battery life, it's as I say, they run for a long time.
I see.
Yeah.
And once it reaches like the end of useful life, can it be recycled?
Yes, and actually I think there's a lot of capital which is going to go into this as well. Like, like a lot of people are looking into, basically lithium recycling is nothing new in the global market, right? We have Redwood, we have a bunch of people who are big players. In Asia, predominantly TES is the strongest player. Currently, it's still like pyro and hydro, the technique that people are using. But basically, I think what will change is that the logistical movement of things, right? Like there will be a need to recycle second lives of battery, including storages. And I think that there's a gap that we haven't addressed yet, which is electronic waste within Asia. So if you're talking the market itself, if you're talking black mass market in terms of after to use for recycling lithium, it's a 1.5 billion market globally and around 60 million in Asia. So there's definitely a gap there that needs to be filled up and down the supply chain. While EV grows, this is definitely an opportunity. There is also new technologies coming in terms of recycling, which is more environmental friendly and more cost conscious. So this is definitely the space to watch, and I think that something exciting will happen here very soon.
Thank you. And in terms of charging station, do you think we have like enough infrastructure on this charging station?
So we've currently, you see at the moment, if you see the statistics, right, like it says that we have about 4,000 plus. If you're talking charging points or destination, that's around 1,100 around. We see the importance in this because, for our country, I think it's just like back in the days when we were transitioning from coal to oil, right? Like it also took a little while for the infrastructure to follow. I think then it was a very long time ago, so it took longer. It took a total of maybe 47 years. Now we have technology and everything that basically supports. It will go much faster, and we see that. There's a rising capital going into charging stations. Us ourselves too, when we deploy cars, we see the gap that, like a lot of our users, like basically drive very long distances. So we have users who actually live in Bangkok, work in the outskirts, and also people who live in Pattaya and work in Bangkok. So we know that our customers actually do drive a lot. And funnily, like out of all the cars that we deploy, 60% are actually bought in Bangkok, 40% is outside. And the trends of Thai people, like us Thais, we do like to travel. So basically from the top to down, we're seeing a gap that there's not enough in terms of infrastructure play. So this year we've basically done a collaboration with Charge called Rever Charge. We're going to have 1,110 heads by the end of the year. And I see more capital going into the charging structure because now that we're moving on commercial vehicles, I think what the charging capital returns will look like will be very different. Because once we start deploying fleet, if you look at global players, right, like Prologis, a lot of them, their money is being made from fleet charging as well. You're changing from, let's say, a 4% yield in a charging station to much more. So now that we're touching commercial vehicles, we basically see that like there's a lot more capital that's going to go into charging. Our focus is to make sure that our consumers can charge countrywide. And yeah, basically, I think at the end of the year, you'll be seeing more of Rever Charge.
Okay, what do you see as key opportunities and challenges for the EV industry, maybe globally and also in Thailand?
think Thailand or globally first? I think globally, probably I would call the concept of greenflation, it could be a thing in the future if private companies chooses to monopolize some technology. I don't see that happening anytime soon. I think the green trend will be going quite smoothly. I think now that, natural gas prices drop. If you're talking about let's say Thailand, for example, our energy pie, it's a lot of natural gas, right? We all know that the price is good now. Oil prices dropped as well. In terms of what we would call the gray energy, like the price is kind of stabling down. But I think in terms of EV, like I see probably the challenge, probably the only thing would be, yes, what I would call a greenflation, which is more on the global scale. In Thailand, I think that the challenge probably would be the management of our energy grid itself. But then Narit already covered that, renewables will come into play. In Thailand now we have about 20% of renewables, and I think with the commitment to net zero, it will become much more. I think BOI is supporting a lot of projects in renewables right now. So I think this is not really a challenge, but more of an opportunity. And very happy to hear that now people can choose purely green energy for their businesses as well. So I think a lot of exciting things happening here.
Okay, maybe we have one last question from those who are watching online. Do we have only plan to ramp up the EV production? What is the waste management for EV battery plant?
I believe that we are in the early stage of the EV industry in Thailand, and in the near future there will be many new players that coming to invest in Thailand, and this will also create huge opportunities in EV related business, including the battery recycling and waste management. Because when we build the EV industry in Thailand, in the near future, the battery recycling will be an important issue. So, and it will also create the business opportunity in this field as well. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but I think, just like Narit covered about the waste management part of things, definitely there will be an opportunity to do something here, because we're looking all up and down the supply chain, right? Rever ourselves is all about basically decarbonization. So we look from let's say the left side to the right side of the supply chain. So we've been looking at this market very, very closely. As of now, it's not, the way that it's being done is that logistically we would send it out to be recycled, right? We're not there yet. I see that the inflection point for where battery recycling will hit its inflection point is probably around 2027. So we still have some time. I think there's currently a lot of R&D going on in terms of the recycling part. We're also looking into a lot of things. So yeah, before 2027, there should be something quite interesting happening in the battery field.
Okay, thank you so much. Maybe a quick summary. Thailand has set a clear goal to be an EV production hub. And we have 30 policy, which target 30% of auto production to be EV by 2020. And the government has offered a number of incentives to the whole EV ecosystem. And so far, the BOI has approved a number of projects with a combined investment value of over 75 billion baht. And that's mainly from big Chinese EV makers like BYD, Great Wall, SAIC, Chanpen Automotive. And so we still see a lot of opportunities throughout the EV supply chain. And that sums up our key discussion today. I would like to thank you, our two panelists here, Narit Therdsteerasukdi, Secretary General, Thailand's Board of Investment, and Pratarnporn Phornprapha, Vice CEO of Rever Automotive. Thank you very much, Ka. Thank you for sharing your thought and valuable insights with us. And thank you all for joining our session. Have a great day and สวัสดีค่ะ